You're listening to the Black Eagles podcast.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Yanında Tümer var. Tümer'e doğru attı. Tümer gitti. Tümer topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol! Gol! Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Zuma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 187 of Beşiktaş International's The Black Eagles podcast. I'm your host, Sinan Schwarting, live from a dark and stormy night. Early in September. I was going to say late in August, and I've lost the plot. Yes. Early September. Showers here in the city. Lots of fun stuff to talk about. A fantastic match against Yeni Malatyaspor to review. Perhaps some fun Dortmund stuff to preview. Let's dive in to what amounted to a really good game for us. And let's talk. I'm spoiling. Sorry, folks. A little unordinary in that sense. Got knocked out of my rhythm by all the good vibes, I guess. So I've talked a bit about Yeni Malatya. I'll say once again that coming into our match, they lost their first of the season 1-5 at home against Trabzonspor. But since then, they'd sort of gotten things back on track, beating Göztepe on the road and then Gaziantep at home. So they would hope to have performed well against us. But that hope does not, in and of itself, make a result, I guess one could say. And so, coming into this match, I'll dive into lineups. I'm going to try to keep all of this match sort of info real brief because Khan goes into it in depth. This episode is going to be mostly a hashtag Khan's Corner, so shouts to Senor Bayazit out there in Belgium. But let's do this quickly. Lineups: Ersin Dastanoglu in the goal, Necip Uysal and Domagoj Vida on the back line. Necip in for Wellington because of the Turkish limit, the +3. Valentin Rosier and Ridvan Yilmaz on our defensive flanks. Miralem Pjanic and Joseph De Souza. I guess I should say De Souza in the back, and then Miralem Pjanic up ahead of him a bit, with then, of course, Alex Teixeira fully ahead of them in the midfield as our number 10. Coming in off of an injury, so there's a lot of question marks as far as whether or not he would play. He apparently requested vociferously to Sergen Yalçın that he get the chance, so he did indeed. We'll go into that in a moment. Rashid Ghezal and Georges Kevin Nkudu on the wings, with Michy Batshuayi up front. Michy Batshuayi off of a fantastic match with no goals, however. For Yeni Malatya, why not? Let's just dive in. They've Abdul Samet Damlu as their keeper, Semikaya, Wallace, Sadiq Çift Pinar on their back line, so an impressive one. And they're playing 3 back with sort of wing backs in Haddadi and Eski Helac. So interesting there. Abid Ndong and Nshimiri Mana in their midfield. Kanatsiz Kush and Adem Büyük up front. Kubilay, Kanatsiz Kush. Or let's just go with Kubilay. Lots of familiar names in their lineup. Although, I think nobody would give them the upper hand on us by any stretch. Let's dive in, because of course we'd be running out right out of the gates, coming up on the attack. The aggressors 6th minute, after a 10-pass sort of tiki-taka sequence, Miralem Pjanic with an A-plus ball to the batsman, Michy Batshuayi, and he would just slam it home. The hammer, Thor's hammer, or I guess that's the wrong superhero, Batman's, something or other. But yeah, beautiful goal, 1-0. The Pjanic effect, very much in effect. Things are looking good, you gotta say. And just 3 minutes later, in 9+ change, again a great passing sequence, gets the ball to Alex Teixeira, who tries to take a shot. It's deflected by a defender. Luckily, however, it drops to Georges Kevin Nkudu, who makes a nice couple touches and then slots it home with relative ease. 2-0, and we haven't yet reached the 10th minute. Although I guess with celebrations and whatnot, we would in fact, but whatever. One of the all-time great celebrations, probably. I'm not a huge anime guy, but Dragon Ball Z fusion with Nkudu and Rosier to celebrate. Just a fantastic 10 minutes of football for Beşiktaş fans. The next big moment will be in the 24th minute. Alex Teixeira to Batsman, back to Alex Teixeira on the little 1-2. And Alex with just an unorthodox, crazy shot that somehow forces a pretty miraculous save from Abdul Samet on their part to keep it at 2-0. In the 44th minute, on a corner by Pjanic, who took the role from Gezal, he'd find Wellington on the back post, who would dive in and just miss it. But so yeah, that would be it at the half, 2-0. We would come out of the gates again right out of the second half, Nkudu pressing early, and then in the 51st minute, on basically you'd think a regular defensive clearance on the part of Yeni Malatya, but somehow not quite that case with Michy Batshuayi on the gegenpress, as Khan will highlight in his portion of the podcast in a moment. But yeah, a bit of butt action, the Bats butt, and a goal, 3-0. And yeah, I mean, what can you say? Just fantastic stuff. To sort of put the rest to bed, in the 83rd minute, there would be one more real nice chance. Gökhan Töre with a fantastic sort of sliding the ball on to Kenan Karaman, whose finish is perhaps a bit lacking. But that would be it. We would pepper their keeper late in the game with a number of chances. But yeah, nothing really to speak of. Those were the big chances. I'll go back and dig in as far as moments in the match beyond just the big goal scoring chances and the goals themselves. In the 15th minute, Miralem Pjanic got himself a yellow card. Yeah, questionable, I thought. He did sort of step on the guy's foot, but he was going for the ball clearly. And I mean, especially considering there are a number of chances very similar to that they did not give cards to on the part of Yeni Malatya later on in the match. Questionable, but anyhow, in the 20th minute, Domagoj Vida would go down with what looked to be an injury, and he would come back out, so you would think maybe it's not a serious one, but then he would limp off quite clearly in pain. Wellington would come in and fill in admirably in his defense, but yes, a huge issue there. It will turn out to be a 3 to 4 week injury for Domagoj Vida, meaning he will miss our upcoming match against Dortmund, as well as our upcoming Super League matches, and potentially even our next match against Ajax in the Super League. So, rough for him. In the 43rd minute, another injury to Alex Teixeira, and he's also going to be missing the game against Dortmund, it seems. He would be replaced by Can Bozdoğan, who had impressed apparently in training and in the friendly against Umraniye. And so, he was getting the call in there over the likes of Ozan Özyakup. Of note, of course, Salih Uçan would not be available because of his red card suspension from the previous match. After the goal in the second half, Munir Çuayar would come into the match for Ibrahim Didier Ndong. In the 69th minute, Kenan Karaman would come in for Georges Kevin Nkudu, Mehmet Topal for Pjanic, and Gökhan Töre for Rashid Gezal, all in the 69th minute. In the 72nd, Haki Osman would come on for Sami Kaya. 75th, Mert Altinash for Adem Büyük. And Steven Malan for Rayane Abid. And that would be it for all of the kind of technical bits and pieces of the match. Let's just quickly hand the baton over to my guy, Khan Bayazit, for this week's hashtag Khan's Corner, everyone. Woo.
Another 3 goals and another 3 points and another clean sheet for Beşiktaş after 4 games in the Super League. It's really a shame that, you know, whatever happened within Sakala against Gaziantep, because I honestly think that we would have gotten the 3 points there as well if it wasn't for that unfortunate incident. But 10 points out of 12 is nothing to scoff at, especially given the fact that we have already played a difficult away game at Gaziantep. We have played a difficult home game against Karagümrük, but we have played 3 home games in total already. So, yeah, it's to be expected, I think, that we had a good start to the season, especially given the transfers we've made and the team we have put together. Having said that, I didn't expect us to be really strong at the start of the season. I also don't think we were. I don't think we were amazing against Rize or against Gaziantep. And then against Fatih Karagümrük, I thought we picked it up a little bit. And then this weekend, I think we played our best, most dominant game in a long time. The first 15 minutes in particular were just amazing. The first half, the first 10 minutes, we immediately took the opponent by storm. We just whirlwinded over them. We just absolutely just flatlined them. Like, it was crazy. After 7 minutes, Miralem Pjanic on his debut with a fantastic Guti-esque, Sergen-esque. I don't even think that. I don't know if that justifies it. We should just say Pjanic-esque. It is I don't think likening it to any of the greats from the past does it justice. It was an amazing pass. And Michy Batshuayi gets his first goal for Beşiktaş. Something he really deserved, because before the international break against Fatih Karagümrük, he really deserved to score a goal, but he didn't. He did, but it was ruled offside, and he had a couple of really good one-on-one opportunities, but Viviano, of course, denied him, or he put it wide. But very happy for Michy Batshuayi to get off the mark here. And, fantastic assist from Pjanic, but Pjanic will get into that a little bit more in a bit, but just a couple of minutes later, Alice Teixeira on the edge of the box gets his shot blocked. It falls to George Kevin Nkudu, and he slots it home for 2-0. Fun little celebration between him and Valentin Rosier. 10 minutes in, 2-0. At that point, Beşiktaş are probably not going to give this away, right? But we have in the past, so you can never say never. But then I think the most impressive thing happens. And for the next, we're in the 10 minutes of it. For the next 60 minutes or so, I think our gegenpressing, it's a popular term in football the last 10 years or so after the team that we're facing on Wednesday, Borussia Dortmund, basically coined that term, which is gegenpressing. And it basically, what it means, gegenpressing, is that within the 6 seconds of losing the ball, you recover it. And you may remember that's something that Abdullah Avcı was really keen on implementing when he came to Beşiktaş. And he of course, he had the interesting system of having a false left back with Caner moving into the midfield and stuff. But I remember vividly because I was at a wedding at the time. We were playing against Malatyaspor, and that was the first and maybe even only match where that clicked for the team. The first half, I remember watching it on my phone at the wedding with my earbuds plugged in, being super social at the reception. And I just remember thinking, wow, we are playing amazing. And for 45 minutes, I think we had amazing gegenpressing in that game. The difference was that at halftime, we were 1-0 down. And it was a fluke. I would say to this day, I want to give Abdulhachi credit there. I think that really was signs of his system that he wanted to play, promising signs of it. But the problem, of course, was we didn't score, and the problem was that we did allow the opponent to score. It was an amazing goal with the outside of the boot by Olcan Çağlayan, if you remember. But I just wanted to harken back to that because I've seen people say, I've never seen Beşiktaş play like this. I have seen him play like this once, and that was then, like 2 years ago. The difference is we were down 1-0 despite playing good gegenpress. And now we were up 2-0. Obviously, there's a little bit of fortune involved there, especially the second goal. But I think the most important thing is that basically the entire match, not just the first 60, 70 minutes, but I'm just trying to think. Like, in the 4 games that we have played so far this season, Ersin has faced 4 shots. That is absolutely nothing. That's an average of 1 shot per match. I'm just trying to think in this game if he even had to make a save. Now, the criticasters of Ersin, basically the Altay fanboys, because that's what Twitter's turned into, is there's no Fenerbahce fans anymore. There's only Altay fans apparently, because every time Uğurcan from Trabzon does something wrong, or Ersin or whatever, they'll be right on top of them. They'll be shitting on those guys because Altay is whatever. Well, let's see if they say that after this weekend. But the haters will say, Ersin doesn't concede goals because he doesn't face shots, and to an extent that's true, sure. But and this is completely off topic, and I'm sorry for that, but what people don't see and don't say is the vital interceptions that Ersin makes that prevents the opponent from getting shots off. Not so much in this game because we were so dominant, but in the past games against Rize, there were, especially against Rize, I remember Alper Potuk slipping through several times on the left and putting the ball into the near post, and Ersin just pouncing on it, like risking life and limb and just pouncing on that ball. And, just in other games as well, Ersin just coming out, plucking the ball, being very dominant, very confident. Like, those types of things are important as well. What we see with other goalkeepers sometimes. Take, for example, Altay. Take Uğurcan. They have had these moments already this season. They come out for those balls, and then they drop them, and then that leads to chaos. We haven't seen that a single time it's Ersin this season. It has happened in the past, but it doesn't happen a lot with Ersin, even in the past, like last season. Like, how many times has Ersin fumbled a cross? Doesn't happen much. Of course, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. But that's the thing. Like, okay, Ersin doesn't face that many shots at the moment because our defense is, and when you talk about defense, it's more than just back line. It's the entire team that does that work. And there's a very interesting quote from Sergen from this game when it comes to that, where Sergen said, our success is because our defense starts in the offensive third, and that was very true in this game. Where as soon as we would lose the ball, we'd basically have it back within 4, 5, 6 seconds, and that was the strength. And that was not just Vida, who unfortunately got injured, and Wellington and Rosier and Ridvan, or even just De Souza. You know, that was the entire team. That was Nkudu. That was Gezal. That was PJANIC. That was all those guys working their socks off to win the ball back, to put pressure on the opponents, to not give them an inch. And there's two thoughts I have with that. Is like, it's going to be a long season. It's good that we have a good squad depth now, but it's going to be a long season, and this is a very intense way of playing football. I don't expect us, especially now with these Champions League group stage games weaved into our schedule for the coming months, I don't think that we'll be able to constantly play at this high of a level. But I think we will get better still, obviously. I mean, PJANIC, this was his first match. Alex Teixeira also got injured, or re-injured, the previous injury. Alex Teixeira is still very new. You know, PJANIC is super new. Batshuayi is still super new. So there's a lot of players there that, and especially PJANIC, you know, like he's really new to the team. He's only been training with the boys for like 4 days or something, 5 days. Only just got back from international duty. We didn't even have Kyle Laren and Atiba in this game. There's just so much more room for growth here that it's very promising. And hopefully we can have the team continue to grow. Now, I've kind of gone back and forth a little bit here on all those topics, and need to keep my thoughts straight. So let's look at Miralem Pjanic for a second. Like, I think everyone realized when we signed him, that was a pretty big deal, right? But I've seen people, like including Sinan, say like, I didn't realize he was this good. And the thing is, like, Pjanic has been an absolute baller for years, right? Like, at Roma, he was the man. At Juventus, he was the successor to Andrea Pirlo, basically. And then he went to Barcelona last season for 60 million euros. Like, when, like, can you fathom that? Like, a player that just, I know there's a lot of, there's some stuff, there's like some stuff being said about Barcelona's finances and the Pjanic Arthur deal being a little fishy or whatever. But regardless, like, in Turkey, we've never had a player that went for that type of money come basically the season after, right? Sure, Mesut Özil has gone for big money in the past, but he's also not, he's also been useless for 2 years. That's not the case with Pjanic. Like, Pjanic, in the international break, I think had 2 assists and a goal for Bosnia. He was in the World Cup qualifier, the European section of the World Cup qualifiers team of the week, just these past weeks. And he's hungry. You can tell when he joined Beşiktaş, he kicked up some dust about Ronald Koeman, and Pjanic is not here at Beşiktaş to enjoy the sun and play some beach football. He's here to prove a point. And you can tell that, like, just from that first match, Pjanic is hungry and he wants to be successful. And, I know a lot of you are probably already thinking in the back of your head of, oh man, it sucks that we can only have him for one season. And you know what? I mean, it does, but I think we need to be realistic here, and we need to appreciate the fact that we are able to have a player, a 60 million euro player like Miralem Pjanic, even if it's just for one season, because he's 31 years old. He's still in his prime. Like Andrea Pirlo at that age, at 31, like that's when Andrea Pirlo started like shining for the first time. You know what I mean? Like he peaked really late. And Pjanic, of course, Pjanic has been playing at a high level for many years, but like with his style of play, like deep lane playmaker that he is, he's very much in his prime at the moment, and you could see that. And a good friend of mine, Sally, mentioned this is what we've been missing. This is the missing link we've had the past years. That perfect transition from defense to attack. And in this match, at least, Miralem Pjanic was indeed that fantastic conduit that just connected both the defense and the attack perfectly, and just forwarded the game so quickly. And where in the past maybe we were playing a little bit too many vertical passes. I think now with Pjanic, we were just going forward so quickly. And I remember just at a moment in the game, I think it was when Nkudu maybe might have had the ball, or I don't remember exactly, but just looking at all those white shirts bursting into the box. That was still at the time when Alex was still on the pitch, Michi was on the pitch, Gezal, Pjanic, and Nkudu. Like everyone was still there, like that was before any subs. I just remember saying because I was watching this game at my dad's home. Remember saying to Kim, my girlfriend, and my dad and everyone who was there, I was saying, we are going to score a lot of goals this season, just by that one snapshot of 4 bodies running into the box. That was even without Kyle Laren, like Akadira Kyle Laren, like we didn't even have him on the pitch. But yeah, anyway, at the end of the day, it's only Malatyaspor. We have to put that caveat out there. Malatyaspor did not have a great start to the season. Opening match day, 1-5 loss at home to Trabzonspor. So let's keep that in mind. Big difference with that is I think, this is only a 3-0. This is not a 5-0 like Trabzon with a 1-5 away, whatever. I do think that we could have scored a lot more, but we definitely took the foot off the gas pedal. You could tell that especially after the 3-0, because after the 2-0 in the first half, we kept pushing. I really liked that as well. But after the 3-0, which was a funny goal, after the 3-0, you could definitely tell, okay, we're not pushing that hard anymore. And then in, I think around the 67th or the 70th minute or something, Sergen basically took everyone off. Took Pjanic off, took Gezal off, I think he took Nkudu off. Of course, at that point, Alex Teixeira was already subbed, because he was subbed before halftime because he re-aggravated his injury. So at that point, we had Mehmet Topal on the pitch. We had Can Bozdoğan, who had already come in the first half for Alex. We had Gökhan Töre. And on the left, who came on the left? Oh, Kenan. Kenan came on the left. So only Michy Batshuayi was left on the pitch, basically. And you could really tell that once those players came in, that the level of football was so much lower. Suddenly, Malatyaspor started getting a little bit of space. Suddenly, that gegenpress wasn't as effective anymore. Like, we weren't recovering the ball that quick anymore. And I think at that point also Malatya had their only moment of danger, really, where it was barely dangerous, but like one of their players got into the box on really towards the back line on the left side, and he I don't even know if it was a shot or a cross, but he hit like the outside of the post and then it went out. It was, it's hitting the post, but in a non-dangerous way, really, kind of. Because there's no way he's going to score from that angle. Excuse me. So yeah, fantastic game, fantastic debut for Miralem Pjanic, who I can tell you already, if he stays fit, he's gonna be massive this season, and it's going to be a massive loss next summer when he returns to Barcelona. But you have to enjoy it. We have Champions League games coming up, 6 Champions League games that we have to enjoy. Potentially the last Champions League games, group stage games for Turkish teams in the upcoming years. We'll have the Champions route, so normally speaking, she'll be able to qualify for the group stages as the champion. But, there's always that possibility that you don't make it. So, have to enjoy these Champions League games coming up. We have on Wednesday Dortmund, which I think it's a little unfortunate for us that we open against Dortmund. Open against Dortmund at home. If we would have opened against Dortmund away at the Westfalen, that would have been better, I think. But, it's football. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we have to play that home game against Dortmund anyway. The only big loss for us is Domagoj Vida. He got injured, had a heel injury yesterday. Not yesterday, Saturday. He'll be out for 3 weeks, probably. That's what it's being reported right now. So he'll miss the Dortmund match for sure, and he'll probably miss the Ajax match, and that's unfortunate. Also really unfortunate for Vida because he rarely ever gets injured, and to get injured now, he's going to miss 2 out of 6 Champions League matches. That's very unfortunate for him and for us. He's our best defender. That means we'll probably be playing Wellington and Najib, or Wellington and Montero against Dortmund on Wednesday. And people are speculating Wellington Montero right now, but I don't think so because Montero has no match rhythm going into that match. I don't think that Sergen will put Montero against Haaland with no match rhythm. So I expect Najib to start. I just hope he doesn't start Mehmet Topal because then it's gonna be a slaughter. And Alex injured as well, re-aggravated his injury. He should be back quicker. But definitely the Dortmund match is coming too soon for him. But he should hopefully be back for the Ajax match. And apart from that, I think Ersin in goal. I really, I've seen some speculation on Twitter with people basically putting the logical team on there, except for Mert in goal instead of Ersin. And I think that would be criminal to rob Ersin of Champions League experience. Like, it's going to be so valuable for him. Facing a guy like Haaland is going to be very valuable for him as well. So I hope Ersin starts. Ersin should start. And probably Ridwan on the left and Rosie on the right as always. And I expect Wellington and Najib. Then in midfield, Pjanic, Souza, of course, Joseph, and Atiba, I would imagine. And of course Gezal and of course Batshuayi. But then the question on the left is it's going to be Nkudu, who played really well against Malatya, or is it going to be Kyle Larin? That's the question, I think. And personally, I think he might start Nkudu for the counter, but we'll see. It's going to be really interesting on Wednesday. We're going to see how good we really are. Going to face the best team we've faced in a long time with Dortmund. This is going to be a real. This is the best team we faced since 2018 when we played Bayern München. So this is going to be the best team we've played in 2.5 years. It's going to be really interesting. I personally do not expect the result, quite frankly. I think Dortmund are... It's difficult because I don't know how good we are. Like, it's difficult to say. We only played Malatya, we only played Rize and Gaziantep, and, you know, we only played the past season, we only played a mediocre Galatasaray, we only played a mediocre Trabzonspor, a mediocre Fenerbahce. This season, our opponents are stronger, I feel. But we haven't played any of them yet. And we've only played some of the minnows. Some of the teams we ought to be beating easily, except for Karagümrük, which is a tough team. So it's really difficult to say how good we are. Dortmund themselves on the weekend won 3-4 away at Bayer Leverkusen. Big win for them. Very spectacular match. Leverkusen took the lead 3 times, and in the end, Dortmund won, I believe, with a Haaland penalty. And yeah, that guy, I think like Erling Haaland for me is the second coming of Ronaldo, and I don't mean Cristiano, I mean the real deal, the original, the OG Ronaldo, and just the pure goal scoring talent that he showcases. It's second to none. Like like his numbers, their stats are Messi-esque, and I don't know, man. Like, Haaland is... People talk about Lewandowski and Benzema and these guys as being the best striker in the world, but I don't know, man. Erling Haaland, I think he's got 125 goals and 125 appearances or something, or now maybe 127 and 126. I don't know. It's crazy. That kid is so good. Good friend of mine, Jakub from the Football Turka podcast, he was clamoring for us to get PSG, basically, because he really wants Messi to come to Turkey, not to see Beşiktaş getting smacked around, but just, you know, because he wanted to see Messi come to Turkey for once in his life, which I understand that train of thought. Like, I would have, quite frankly, I would not have minded playing PSG myself. Like with Bayern, we've played Bayern, you know, that's something we've seen. That PSG would have been fun because then, you know, you have Messi for the first time ever in Turkey. That would have been amazing. But I think Erling Haaland, you know, Messi and Ronaldo are both going to retire in the next 5 years, right? Or at least maybe not retire, but I mean, Ronaldo, I imagine, would. Although he's still amazing, is still in amazing peak physical condition. Messi, you know, he might, in 5 years, he might be playing for Newell's Old Boys. You know, like, I don't think Messi will still be playing in Europe in 5 years, but, you know, I might be mistaken. But in 5 years, I fully expect, if he stays spared from injuries, that Erling Haaland is going to be the Ronaldo, the Messi of his era, so to speak. He's gonna be the best in the world. I think he's better than Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe is an amazing talent, but Haaland is a killer, and Mbappe isn't. Not at that level as Haaland is. I think Haaland is gonna be the best. Like, I personally don't understand Real Madrid's obsession with Mbappe when there's Haaland. Like, if you would consider spending 200 million euros for a guy that has 1 year left on his contract, Kylian Mbappe, and you can get Haaland for probably 150, I would always go for Haaland. Haaland's younger, I think. Not 100% sure on that. I think he's younger. And, yeah, I think higher ceiling. Anyway, that's that. Dortmund on Wednesday. Let's hope for a good start in the Champions League. You know that mainly the Fenerbahce fans are hoping that we're gonna get smacked on Wednesday. There is always that possibility, but I think we are a good team. I don't think we'll get smacked, but you never know. If they score early, if we get a red card, something stupid happens, it's possible, you know. Last time Dortmund played a Turkish team, I think it ended very poorly twice for Galatasaray. But that was Galatasaray. That was and I like, yeah. Anyway, let's hope for a good result on Wednesday, and then let's hope for another good result on the weekend on Saturday away at Antalya. And yeah, let's enjoy. Let's enjoy the season. Let's hope it continues to build as it has so far, and that the team continues to grow. And we'll be in for a couple of amazing months if that happens.
Yeah, Khan Bayazit, everybody. Thank you once again to Khan for the hashtag Khan's Corner. He gets much of the episode this week. I'll quickly go over stats, and again, quick, because I don't want to drag things on too much longer. Beşiktaş had 68% of the ball to their 32, 16 shots in total to their 7, 13 chances created to their 5, 3 big chances to their 0, 570 accurate passes to their 215, at a 90% rate to their 75%, which is not bad for our opposition. We tend to keep our opponents down to sort of below 70. So, despite losing 3-0, Yeni Malatya, they didn't lose their shape entirely somehow. We conceded 14 fouls. They conceded 10. We had 9 corners to their 3 and were called for offsides twice to their 0. 16 shots, I said, to their 7. 3 of them were off target to their 2. 9 were on target to their 2. 4 shots blocked by us, 3 blocked by them. That's good stuff, right? I suppose we could say. Quickly, as far as the sort of highest rated players, top of the heap here is Michy Batshuayi, 2 goals, right? Joseph de Souza next, Miralem Pjanic behind him, Georges Kevin Nkudu. Then, in the sort of very good section of the ratings here, we have Ridvan Yilmaz, Necip Wellington, who's even a sub, so with sort of limited minutes even. Then Jospin Inshimirimana for Yeni Malatya, their central midfielder. Then Valentin Rosier, Rashid Ghazal, Ersin Destanoglu, Munir Chouiar, and that's it for that's about it. That kind of tops out the good performers of the match. So a lot of our guys in that batch naturally. I'll sort of briefly talk about Batshuayi's stats just to go over how they gave him the highest rated. He played the full match, obviously, scored twice. He had 4 shots in total, 20 accurate passes. His pass rate was 83%, so really good stuff. He created a chance as well as his 3 shots, all of which were on target. One of them was blocked. He had 4 shots, but the 3 that made it past their defense were all on target. Of the accurate passes, it was 20 accurate passes. Only 7 were in Beşiktaş's half, which means 13 of them were in the opposition's half. 1 accurate long ball out of 1 attempted. He had 1 key pass, 33 touches, very present. He lost 5 duels and won none. So he wasn't particularly active in that sense, though we know he scored a goal by pressing, so nobody will say he wasn't active all in all. So just a very good, efficient game as an attacker. Especially with the second goal being something of a fluke that bumped his stats up. I will say, however, that my man of the match is going to be Miralem Pjanic, the newcomer, the debutant, if you will. He didn't get the full match. He played only 69 minutes, but those 69 minutes left so much to our imagination as far as what we can hope for this season. And obviously, first and foremost, we hope for his continued health. Because as long as he's out there, I feel like things could look nice for us. Again, he had a very high rating, not the highest, but I'm going with him nonetheless. He did have an assist. He had 64 accurate passes at an 82% rate. He created 5 chances. No shots. That's fine. But 64 accurate passes. And so again, out of 78 passes, to do it at an 80% rate of success is something else. Especially because he's not like conservative with those balls. They're searching their defense for holes, each one. So, 4 crosses, one of them accurate. That contributes to lowering his success rate even. 5 long balls, 4 of them accurate. 4 key passes, 95 touches. So this man was omnipresent. Won 7 duels and lost 5. Not bad. He was fouled 3 times. All of them to sort of stop down our tempo or counters, because he was very effective in exposing, like I said, exposing holes in their back line especially, but in their midfield as well. 3 interceptions. So, yeah, just fantastic play from him. But that's all I'm going to say. That's all I have to say about our stats. A great game all around for a ton of guys, obviously. Quickly, let me talk a little bit about Borussia Dortmund, because it's worth talking about them. It's worth talking about their results so far and giving you a bit of a preview. For anyone who hasn't heard it, I recommend you go back and listen to my interview with Stefan Puchko of the Yellow Wall podcast. Great stuff and very informative, and you can get way more info than I'm about to give you. But real quickly, they started out their season with a 5-2 win over Eintracht Frankfurt, lost to Bayern Munich 1-3 at home, then lost also to Bochum 2-1, and then beat TSG Hoffenheim 3-2, and then beat Leverkusen 3-4 on the road, coming from behind, I believe, a number of times. Leverkusen scored in the 9th minute. Haaland scored in the 37th minute. Leverkusen scored in the 46th minute in extra time of the first half. Brandt scored in the 49th minute in the second half for Dortmund, so leveling it again. Diaby for Leverkusen gave them the 3-2 lead in the 55th minute, and then Guerreiro in the 71st for Dortmund, and then Haaland with a penalty in the 77th minute would give Dortmund the win. So they're winning, but they're also leaky in the back. And you'd think, we're not particularly sound up front yet with all these new pieces. But if you saw us play in this last match, certainly there's enough there that could come together for some goals if things go our way. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Could be good. I'll quickly mention their lineup. They have Gregor Kobel starting in their goal in their last match. On their back line, Marin Pongracic and Manuel Akanji, Swiss central defender. Thomas Meunier is the right back. Rafael Guerreiro, who I mentioned scored in their last match, is their left back. Axel Witsel, a name many will recognize, is in the middle of their defense. Jude Bellingham, a young guy, is in the center of the midfield alongside Mahmoud Dahoud, who's German. Erling Haaland obviously up front with Marco Reus on the left wing and Julian Brandt on the right wing. So they're a very talented side that could be really dangerous. Not having Domagoj Vida is a real dang shame. Supposedly, Khan mentions this, supposedly there's a bit of a debate as to whether we're going to see Necip or Francisco Montero. If there is a debate, it means Montero must be performing really well in training, because as Khan mentioned, you'd think you wouldn't bring a guy in cold in a match like this, but perhaps he's really performed in training. So if Sergen Yalchin believes in him, I believe in him. Like Khan, I co-sign. I really just hope it's not Mehmet Topal starting. Other than that, good news. Despite having perhaps lost Alex Teixeira and Domagoj Vida, Salih Uçan will be available. Not his suspension is done in the Super League, and it wouldn't have applied to Europe anyhow. And Kyle Larin is back from that sort of mild injury he picked up with the Canadian national team, so he'll be available. So we get to have a debate between he and Georges Kevin Kudu on the left wing. And it's good that we get to have that debate as well, because Nkudu left the match against Yeni Malatya with a slight injury. So for him to be healthy and an option is great news. So yeah, I mean, look, nothing but good vibes, right? Let's hope we get to win and have no problems and everything is great, and we start off the Champions League campaign with a bang. If not, it's not the end of the world. They are missing a number of pieces to injury as well. So while it's not opportune for us as far as missing Vida and Alex Teixeira, it's not for them either. So we shall see. Again, this match is going to be Wednesday, September 15th, 12:45 here on the eastern coast of the United States. Check your local listings. So yeah, a nice lunchtime Champions League match for us here in the United States on the East Coast. Yeah, I mean, hosting Dortmund, so at least we're at home. There is that. Supposedly we've already, I think, sold out our half of the stadium that we're allowed to have open. So we're going to have our, the most fans we've had this season, which is great news. With the vaccines increasing in Turkey, we've sort of steadily seen a trickle of more and more fans. We just had the highest attendance in the Super League thus far this season in our match against Yeni Malatya this last week. So that's good news, and again, supposedly we've sold the 20,000 that we'll have against Dortmund available. So here's to a great match in the Champions League, everyone, and thanks again to Kaan Bayazit. You can follow him at Razzerian, Razzerian. Follow myself at Sir_Writes_a_lot. Follow the podcast at Eagles_podcast. Of course, that's all Twitter. On Instagram, you can follow us at Black Eagles Podcast, one word. Stay tuned for more, obviously. I've got that Sporting episode lined up. I'll look for the next gap in the schedule to put that up. So we have a little time, perhaps, because we have a lot of matches upcoming. After the Champions League match, we're going to be on the road in Antalya. At least it's a nice beach destination. And then midweek on Tuesday, we're going to be hosting Adana Demirspor, who has Montella as their coach now. And then Friday, on the road again in Izmir, visiting Altay, the newly promoted side. And then again after that, Ajax on the road. This one is our first road match of the Champions League. And again, it's against the sort of second toughest opposition in the group. So no rest for the weary, but hopefully we can string together some good performances, maybe get back some guys sooner than expected. We can hope for the best, right? Why not? So I'll be back after the Dortmund match to talk about that, maybe with a guest co-host. I mean, a lot of folks might be excited after that one. Obviously, that depends. I will be featured. I am featured on the Yellow Wall podcast with Stefan. So yeah, check me out at Yellow Wall Pod on Twitter. It was a lot of fun showing up on their podcast. Again, his name is Stefan Buchko, and it's the Yellow Wall Podcast. At Stefan, STEFAN BUCZKO, and at Yellow Wall Pod, one word. Extra Beşiktaş content there. I'd give them the lowdown on everything there is to know about us. But anyway, without further ado, all I really have left to say is, let's go Beşiktaş! Woo! Champions League, baby! Woo!
Goodbye
Beşiktaş International hopes you enjoyed this program.